Brother's wife accused me of being ungrateful for not thanking her for taking care of her own kids while we traveled. My 22F brother, 35 male, surprised me 6 months ago by planning a trip to Scotland for my birthday. He knew I've never traveled before and wanted to take me to my dream country. Due to tight finances, it was just the two of us, which I was okay with since at the time him and I were close. For context, my brother is married and has 2 kids under 6. His wife, 34F, had said she was happy for me and didn't mind holding down the fort for a week while we're on the trip. Her and I have never been close and quite frankly just tolerate each other for the sake of keeping the peace. She's never been a fan of how close my siblings are with each other. It all comes down to growing up in different family dynamics emo. Anyway, the trip was amazing and I loved every second of it. I was on such a high when we came back that I thanked my brother so many times for doing this for me until he told me to shut up lol. I thought everything was good and we resumed our lives normally. Imagine my surprise when I get a text 3 days after coming back from my sil telling me off and calling me rude and ungrateful cause I didn't send her a text thanking her for babysitting on her own and having to do everything around her house for a whole week while I had fun with her husband. Yep, that's exactly how she worded it. I was flabbergasted. This is the same woman who smiled and told me to have fun on my trip, and now she's berating me for not thanking her for doing me a favor by taking care of her kids for a week. Am I crazy or is that totally irrational and just weird? I told her I'm not sure taking care of your own children is babysitting or doing someone else a favor, and she blew up at me calling me a terrible ungrateful brat and that I never show appreciation for anything. I was so confused by all of this and called my brother, but he doubled down and told me the trip wouldn't have been possible had she not volunteered to take care of their kids so we can have fun and that I should be thanking her for doing it for me. I was and still am confused on why I need to thank a mother for taking care of her own kids. Anyway, to keep the peace I told her thanks for doing it, but she decided I wasn't being sincere and convinced my brother to go low contact with me. My siblings and my mom were confused by all of this but keep telling me to just bite my tongue and not stir the pot any further. But I'm just hurt and confused. My relationship with my brother has been strained since and it's taking a toll on me. I just need outside opinions cause I'm genuinely confused on whether or not I'm the asshole in this whole mess. I can't reply to everyone, so let me clear up a few things I feel I should have included. They do not share finances. She has never spent any money on anything related to me. Also, last year she took a trip with her siblings abroad as well, and no, I don't know if her siblings thanked my brother for watching his kids. Finances were tight as in my brother was paying out of his own pocket and wouldn't have been able to take anyone else with us, plus this trip was a birthday gift not a family trip, so no one expected to join. I did thank them both when I was first told about the trip, and I asked my brother if he was sure it was okay for us to go, and he assured me we were set and I only needed to have fun. I later learned that she didn't contribute anything to the trip and said she wouldn't have wanted to take a trip with me anyway. Update 1. A lot of you are fixated on the fact that I said finances are tight. I didn't mean their overall finances. They have separate finances, and from my understanding, they only share finances when it comes to their household and kids. Anything else they pay from their own pockets and don't interfere in what they spend their money on as long as the kids are good and household is running smoothly. So since my brother was paying for this trip on his own, he couldn't take many people with him as that would put a bigger financial burden on his personal savings. They're doing fine financially. They take family trips once a year. I did thank them both when I was initially told about the trip. My sil later made a snide comment about how this was all my brother and she didn't contribute to the trip at all. Last year Sil and her siblings went on their own trip while my brother took care of everything and he was fine with it. My family dynamic is apparently confusing you guys, but we're 5 siblings that are very close and hang out regularly and have a close bond with our mom, especially since our dad passed away. We are from an Asian country and the culture here and the bonds between families are different from the West. To those who said maybe she's salty I'm getting a trip when I've never helped them out, I babysat my Sil's babies for 5 days a week for months each time her maternity leave ended, and each time they stopped needing me to help out only my brother thanks me, and that's fine with me. Sil has never thanked me or my siblings for anything we do for them. She says the fact that we're so eager and willing to drop everything to take care of each other is weird and unhealthy. I did thank her once I realized I should just keep the peace and tell her what she wanted to hear. Still, she didn't accept my thank you after I made the babysitting your own kids comment. I understand I was an off for saying that now, since a lot of you have pointed out that it was rude and that I'm not a mother and don't get it, but to be fair her texts were full of insults. She kept doubling down on the fact that she was stuck babysitting because of me. Many of you asked why I wasn't offered the ticket and went on my own. In our culture, women, especially young ones, don't travel on their own without either a family member or their husbands. It's not about control but more out of protection for us, so going on my own wouldn't have been an option. So I talked with my mom to better understand the situation, since many of you said I'm not a mother and don't get it, and she said my sil worded it wrong, but maybe she just wanted gratitude for helping my brother out, cause being a parent isn't easy. I understand that I reacted to her messages wrong when I could have just said a simple thank you, but neither I or my mom understand why she was so aggressive towards me in her texts. The aggression is what made me become so defensive. I found out from my siblings and my mum that my brother only paid for the tickets and the accommodations, and that my eldest brother is the one that provided the pocket money for food and buying stuff on the trip, and that my siblings chipped in but didn't want the credit since my brother wanted this trip to be like a thank you for helping them out so much with their kids over the years, and that he had cleared it with his wife and she had given him the go-ahead. She also told me that he had asked Sil if she wanted to come with us on the trip and leave their kids with my mum, who was fine with that, but she declined as she and I aren't close and it would have been weird for the both of us. My mum told me that my brother actually asked her to check in every day with Sil to make sure all was well and to see if she needed anything. She also said my brother asked Sil's sisters to check on her as well. It turns out Sil had taken the week off of work. I didn't know that. And for 4 out of the 7 days we were in Scotland she dropped her kids off at my mum's, and the other 3 days when my mum called Sil said she had her sisters with her and didn't need any help. So what the hell was she so mad about? It's clear to me that she wasn't abandoned by my brother as some of you suggested. My siblings initially wanted to just keep the peace, but after I showed them my Sil's text they were surprised and appalled by her words. They thought this whole thing was a simple misunderstanding and now understand that it had become bigger and that my brother and I aren't talking. My sister decided to investigate and called my brother to understand what happened, and it turns out my Sil told him that my mum and siblings didn't check in on her at all, which is a lie. My sister even dropped off food for them twice, and that the kids were upset their dad left them and were throwing tantrums all the time, also probably not true, and that this wasn't what they had agreed on when he told her about the trip months ago. He was too busy trying to calm my Sil down to confirm with the family whether or not it was true. My sister then asked him if he'd seen the texts his wife had sent me, and he said he hadn't, but that Sil told him she just asked me for a simple thank you for all her hard work, and that I blew up at her and told her she didn't deserve anything since she didn't pay for the trip and that she was entitled. He said he was hesitant about believing that since he knows I'd never outright disrespect someone like that even if I don't get along with them, but she insisted that it happened and that she had no reason to lie, and as her husband she needed his support, not his questioning, and that's why he sent me the text saying I needed to thank her. My sister then let my brother know about everything that happened and told him, more like demanded, that they apologize to me, which I didn't think was necessary. I just wanted my brother to talk to me again, and he sounded upset and told her he'll figure this out after talking to his wife. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well. Sil and my brother had a massive fight and he demanded to know why she lied and caused so much drama, and she broke down and told him that he was too close to me and my siblings and that she hated how the whole family babied me, I'm the youngest, and that his siblings' relationship with each other made her uncomfortable, and she just wanted him to put a little distance between himself and us because her family isn't as close to each other, and kept telling her our close dynamic is weird and toxic. He told her behavior is unacceptable and that she caused a rift between not only him and I but also him and the rest of his siblings as well, because now they're mad at him. My brother did call me and he apologized for doubling down on what his wife said. He said it was already tense in their house and he was just trying to keep the peace and be supportive, but he shouldn't have treated me this way when deep down he knew I wasn't at fault. He also let me know that for the time being Sil will go NC with my siblings and I while they go to marriage counseling and Sil goes to therapy cause her behavior wasn't normal. He sounded exhausted and defeated, and I just told him we're all here for him if he needs us. He made it clear that the NC is only for my Sil and assured me he won't limit his contact with me, and apologized for doing so without even talking to me first. I asked him if he'd like me to reach out to her and apologize for what I said and give her a sincere thank you, but he said no, that it was never about the gratitude to begin with, and that it's apparently a bigger issue between them that they need to figure out on their own, that we shouldn't contact Sil unless she reaches out first as she doesn't want to have any contact with us. He also apologized for her language with me on the texts, but I told him not to worry about it. Safe to say Sil's relationship with us is never going to be the same again after this, and to be honest I wasn't the biggest fan of hers, but I was civil and polite to her in the past cause my brother loves her and we've never had any issues prior to this. I do feel really guilty that all this happened because of the trip plan for me, but my siblings keep telling me it's not my fault. My mum says I should have just thanked my Sil and kept the peace instead of having this all blow up so much, but my siblings told her that even if I had apologized it wouldn't have mattered as my Sil would have found something else to cause a problem. But they also told me what a lot of you had mentioned in the comments, that saying thank you was the polite thing to do, and that taking care of kids full time is not the same as babysitting them for a few hours, and it would have been good to tell her she's appreciated. But they understand that I don't have the understanding of what it means to be a parent, and that having someone basically verbally attack me wouldn't have made me reciprocate with kindness. And I get it, I was ignorant about it and I acknowledge that. There are a lot more details, but that's the gist of it. Brother and Sil's marriage is strained RN, and so is his relationship with us, but I hope that everything works out okay. I really love my brother and hate seeing him so defeated. Part of me wishes we never went on that trip because all this drama is draining. The only reason I was questioning the whole I babysat my kids as a favor to you is because I always see people criticizing fathers who say that and calling them out because kids are the parents' responsibility and not a chore or a favor for anyone. I thought this applied to both mothers and fathers, but perhaps I was mistaken because my only point of reference on this topic is what I see on the internet, as I'm not a mom. And since a lot of you have said I'm the and that she deserved a thank you and a gift, I messed up the thank you part, but I did buy her a magnet for their fridge since she likes to collect them. I went a little crazy and brought back little souvenirs for myself and everyone else as well, and it would have been weird and rude to give her kids gifts and not her, so I got every single family member a small Scottish themed present. I was excited about being in Scotland lol. Update 2. First, let me introduce the unexpected new player in this saga. My brother has a new girlfriend. No, before anyone jumps to conclusions, he's still married. But, big but, during marriage counseling, his therapist recommended that both he and my Sil work on rebuilding their individual lives, reconnecting with hobbies, and creating space for clarity. This led my brother to a local hiking group, where he met Evelyn. Evelyn isn't just a hiker, she's an adventure junkie, scaling cliffs, kayaking through rapids, and apparently flipping my brother's world upside down. Before anyone gets scandalized, my brother insists nothing inappropriate is happening. They've only gone on group hikes, but the chemistry is undeniable, and I can confirm Evelyn is smitten because she confessed it to me. Yup. She casually mentioned she was crushing hard on my brother while we were chatting at a group dinner. I tagged along to one of their hiking meetups. I didn't know how to react, but let's just say I'm worried about how this could unfold. Now, on to the juicy part. Evelyn and my brother seem to have this flirtatious banter that's so palpable even strangers pick up on it. At one point during the hike, they got into a mock argument about who could make a better campfire. Evelyn, being the fiery type, smacked my brother playfully on the shoulder and said, "When you're done babysitting your drama at home, maybe you'll learn to survive in the wild with me." Cue the awkward laughter from everyone, followed by dead silence. My brother laughed it off, but you could feel the tension. I asked him about it later, and he said Evelyn's bluntness was refreshing. Refreshing or a red flag? You tell me. Here's where things get even messier. Remember how Sil wanted no contact? Well, that didn't last long. Apparently, Sil got wind of my brother's new hobby and started snooping. She accidentally saw pictures of Evelyn on my brother's phone and flipped out. She accused him of emotionally cheating, called my siblings to scream at them for enabling this betrayal, and even accused me of orchestrating the whole thing because Evelyn and I have hit it off. But wait, there's more. Sil dropped a bombshell. She's been talking to an ex-boyfriend. Apparently, during their marriage counseling sessions, she reconnected with him to seek advice. My brother found out, and now they're in a full-blown war of who emotionally cheated first. Marriage counseling has been cancelled, and divorce lawyers are suddenly involved. Evelyn, for her part, has no idea the storm she's walked into. She invited me to coffee last week, and I gently told her to keep things strictly platonic with my brother while he's sorting out his marriage. She seemed understanding but also mentioned that she wouldn't wait around forever if my brother wanted to figure his life out. The wildest part? Evelyn and my Sil know each other. They were in the same college sorority. Small world, huh? Sil found out Evelyn's name and immediately put two and two together. The showdown hasn't happened yet, but I feel like I'm watching a car crash in slow motion. My siblings and I are trying to keep the peace, but it's clear the family is divided. My mom, bless her heart, just wants everyone to stop fighting and is convinced Sil and my brother can work things out. My siblings are split. Some think my brother is better off leaving Sil, while others think Evelyn is just a temporary distraction. I'm stuck in the middle, trying to mediate, but honestly, I'm exhausted. I wish I knew. My brother says he's trying to figure out his feelings and focus on being a good dad, but his actions don't exactly scream stable family man right now. Sil is threatening to move back in with her parents and take the kids with her if my brother doesn't cut off Evelyn, but my brother says he's done being controlled. Meanwhile, Evelyn is blissfully hiking her way through life, completely unaware of the chaos brewing. Now on to second story. Kicked my houseguest out after she said my cats, lied online about owning them, and now her family is threatening me. I live in an apartment with 3 cats. My cats have their litter robot and cat wheel in the living room and a cat tree in my bedroom. In mid-November, Christine asked to crash on my couch as she was in between leases and she said had nowhere else to go. She made no mention of other hardships or issues. She knew that I have 3 cats and that I usually work 70 hours a week. During Christine's visit, she caused the cats to get sick by giving them milk and cream. I asked her not to feed the cats anything and the next day, Christine threw out almost $70 worth of cat toys, tried to throw out the cat wheel because it didn't match the aesthetic of my living room, gave the cats milk which led to diarrhea, and then refused cat access to the litter robot, locking them in my bedroom. After 4 days of this, I had enough and demanded that she return the key and leave immediately. After she left, I discovered that she had ruined the cat tree as well. A week ago, Christine began photos of my cats on her social media insinuating that they are hers. She mentioned that she had stayed with me and that I had kicked her out when she was in intense pain due to a miscarriage, so she had to move in with her parents, who live nearby. However, the one good thing is that apparently, my cats inspired her to get her own, who apparently look exactly like mine, and if my cats were named Apple, Pencil, and Daisy, then hers are named Banana, Eraser, and Rose. I commented that these are my cats and that I had only let her stay because she lied that she had nowhere else to go. As I'm high risk and we're in the middle of a pandemic and otherwise, I wouldn't have let her stay at my apartment. I also said that she had gotten herself kicked out by abusing my cats, and then started listing expenses and damage costs and asked when she could reimburse me for the damages that had occurred. She responds that the photos are of her cats, she can't afford to pay me back, that she's a responsible pet owner because she did a week of research, and I responded by linking my cat's Instagram and saying that a responsible pet owner is anyone but her. The next day, I got several threatening messages from her family about not believing Christine about the miscarriage or cats. I responded that I was unaware of the miscarriage at the time and was only looking out for my cats. I also mentioned that I doubted the miscarriage had happened, as she had lifted and carried the heavy wheel and base down 2 flights of stairs. On top of that, she had gone out for the entire day and had been drinking coffee. The messages are saying that I better make sure my cats are safe because I'm a terrible pet owner and person for not helping Christine, and that apparently, I don't have any friends because I'm a crazy cat lady. Ida for prioritizing my cats over another human? I understand the upset. But only if she actually did have the miscarriage? Maybe she did and I'm the Also, cat tax here, edit, wow, this blew up way more than I thought it would. After reading all the comments, I realized that I think I was thrown off because I felt like my cats suffered, which made me an in their eyes, and I was projecting because I've had 2 miscarriages, and if anyone ever started doubting me and trying to get others to doubt me, I would be devastated. I appreciate all the comments and I'm trying to respond to them all, but there's a ton. I did want to link this video of my youngest cat running on a wheel as additional cat tax. He's showing my tabby kitty how it's done. Smile. Edit part 2. Things escalated a ton last night. Had to call the police to intervene, and while I can't say much about it yet, I will try to post an update when things blow over. Update 1. A day or so after I posted the Ida post, Christine and her boyfriend tried to break in with a crowbar and a hammer. Yikes. Fortunately, I had taken the night off of work and was actually responding to Reddit comments when my neighbor texted asking if I knew that there were people outside my window. I had no idea. Police were called, and Christine told them that she had left her jacket in my apartment and was just trying to get it back. When I said there was no jacket here, she changed her story to me abusing the cats, but I feel that it's abundantly clear that my cats do not get abused. Both of them, Christine and the boyfriend, were arrested, and I haven't seen Christine since. I was looking through some screenshots of Christine's social media, and to my horror, I realized that some of the photos were taken after she moved out and that I wasn't the one who took them. The cats had collars that I had gotten them for the holiday season, my Christmas tree that went up 12/6 was visible in some of the photos, and so on. The next thing I did was going through the footage that was recorded on my pet cams when I was at work, and wasn't surprised to find out that Christine has been letting herself into my apartment to take photos of my cats and eat my food. I submitted this to the police as a follow-up to the police report I had made. Since then, my mental health has been on a rough ride. I did get the locks changed after the attempted break-in situation, but realizing that Christine had been in my apartment multiple times without me knowing really threw me off. Christine never showed up at work again, and there was a bit of gossip that she had ended up in an in-person psychiatric care facility. I didn't know if she still had access to the schedule, and so my paranoia got pretty bad. I was also uncomfortable working with Christine's friends as my co-workers, so I ended up putting in my 2-week notice in mid-January. I also decided I wanted to move, but it's actually really difficult finding a place that accepts 3 cats. My move was finalized in late February and I was able to move in early March. I injured my wrist right before the move, so it took me 2 weeks longer to move, couldn't move too much stuff at once, and that definitely stretched my savings, because I was paying rent for 2 apartments, with 2 security deposits and such. But since then, I've been working and continuing therapy and outpatient psychiatric care. Maybe I'm a wuss, but it was definitely a little traumatizing to realize how close I got to things turning out differently. Recently, late March, Christine messaged me asking if we could talk. I was hesitant, but eventually, I called her and she apologized for scaring me and asked if we could still be friends. I said I didn't know, because I no longer trust her, and she accepted that. We haven't talked since. Still no clue what prompted the crazy, but I don't want to know or have her around because in true crazy cat lady fashion, I only need my cats. Lol. If anyone wants to be linked to my Instagram for the cats, feel free to DM me, I suppose.